Play.
Partly cloudy this afternoon, 22, with the 3 o'clock news. I'm Michaela Kamarek.
5 bonus Mercedes-Benz to be won in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Deadline is midnight Friday.
The Reserve Bank has raised interest rates for the first time in 12 years and for only the second time during an election campaign. Michael Packy has the details.
The last time Australia's central bank increased rates was in November 2010. Since then, they've dropped to a record low of 0.1%. But global instability, supply chain constraints due to floods and billions of dollars in stimulus to deal with the pandemic has led to a big jump in inflation. In a bid to bring down everyday prices, the Reserve has lifted the official cash rate by 0.25% to 0.35%. The last time interest rates were raised during an election campaign was in 2007. The Prime Minister admits the rise will hurt some people, but believes on the whole, households will be able to absorb the increase.
2 new COVID strains detected in SA are being closely monitored, but for now public health measures will remain unchanged. The Omicron variants referred to as BA.4 and BA.5 have been discovered in international travellers who have come from South Africa. Professor Nicholas Spurrier says it's really too early to know just how transmissible they might be.
At the moment, I would not be suggesting we're changing any of our current public health settings, and my understanding in South Africa, where these variants have been first described, they haven't changed any of their public health settings either.
There have been 3,215 new COVID cases reported in SA today. Another 2 people have died with the virus, a woman in her 90s and 2 men in their 80s. 228 people are in hospital, including 17 in ICU and 2 on a ventilator. Telcos have blocked more than 500 million scam calls in less than 18 months. There has been a 95% decrease in reported mobile fraud since the new obligation started. Australian Communications and Media Authority Chairwoman Nerida O'Loughlin says they have been working hard to address the issue.
The ACMA has been coordinating the fight against phone scams, working collaboratively with the telco industry and right across government. And our recent research has found that under rules that we introduced in December 2020, telcos have blocked over 500 million scam calls.
Protests have erupted in the US after shock revelations. The Supreme Court could be poised to overturn a historic ruling that guarantees women the right to have an abortion. A leaked draft says there's no constitutional right to abortion services, and it would allow individual states to more heavily regulate or ban the procedure. The final decision will be handed down by early July. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Sort Mother's Day with gift vouchers for the best ladies' clothing. lesliesofgawler.com.au.
Carlton might be having its best start to the season since 2012 under Michael Voss, but the Blues aren't yet talking finals. They'll head into Sunday's clash with Adelaide in 6th place on the ladder with 5 wins on the board. Captain Patrick Cripps says they've still got plenty of improvement.
I'm not thinking that far ahead yet. Yeah, it is the best sort of place we've been in since I've been here, and I suppose it's been a lot of hard work over a lot of years to get to this point, but we feel like we're only scratching the surface of what we can do.
Meanwhile, North Melbourne coach David Noble thinks it is too early to say whether the club should receive a priority draft pick this year.
To be honest, I haven't really considered it. It's something that, crikey, we're round 7. It's probably not in my dialogue and discussion at the moment with the club. I think it's internally what they're talking about, so probably come back to that second half of the year.
The Kangaroos are currently 17th on the ladder after finishing in the bottom 2 the previous 2 seasons. And in the NBA, the Heat has beaten the 76ers in Game 1 of their playoff series, 102-96. Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Gilman, Perkins Drive is closed between Francis Street and Bedford Street due to a burst water main. Find an alternative route there. Modbury North, another burst water main. This one's on Montague Road near McIntyre Road and Woodville. Seeing delays inbound on Port Road due to works. That's near Rowley Terrace. Busy South Road, Henley Beach Road to George Street with cameras Anzac Highway, Ashford and Harvey Avenue at Netley. Want free delivery? Shop Amazon.com.au. That's right. Eligible orders over $39 receive free delivery at Amazon.com.au. Easy as. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast. A late shower or two, 23. Showers tomorrow, 17. Thursday showers, 15. And Friday showers continuing, 17. Right now it's 22. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News Tonight.
The first interest rate rise in almost 12 years. Which banks have already jumped and how much it will cost you? Exclusive vision of a car chase and home invasion arrest. The latest from health officials on the new COVID variants detected in SA. And why parents are being told not to pack the humble ham sandwich in lunchboxes. I'm Kate Collins. See the full story on 9 News Tonight at 6.
$13.95, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Jade Robran.
Good afternoon. It is 8 minutes past 3 o'clock. In a moment, we will be talking motoring with our friends from drive.com.au. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask Trent Nikolic, then call in. 8223 0055 is the number. Maybe you're looking at a new car or selling your old one, or perhaps you're in the market to upgrade, downgrade, anything at all. We'll also ask him about how this interest rate rise, what that'll do for car sales as well. There is a traffic hazard due to the opening of the 55th Parliament. There are traffic delays in the CBD. Currently North Terrace, west of King William Street. It's closed at the moment. And at 3:30pm, the intersection of North Terrace and King William Street will be closed for around an hour. So if you could take an alternative route, that would be excellent. So that is currently North Terrace, west of King William Street. It is closed right now. And then at 3:30, the intersection of North Terrace and King William Street. And that is due to the 55th Parliament. There are major traffic delays in the area. Let's talk now with Karen. She's called in because I've got some lovely prizes to give away today. I've got a $50 Cheesecake Shop voucher. And if you are live streaming the show right now, you will see I've got two beautiful yummy, delicious cheesecakes, a strawberry one and a lemon one sitting right in front of me, which I'm sorry is really, really cruel because all I feel like doing is, chowing down into it. So $50 cheesecake voucher to give away, and also a Uggs to You, a $100 gift voucher to give away. Karen, lovely to have you on the show. What is awesome about your mum?
Mum's 92 and she's had 8 kids. She had 7 girls and 1 boy. And she's got nearly 8 in the 80s of grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, and 2 more due in August.
Sorry, how many?
In the 80s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and when we were growing up, she always had, if there was anyone that never had a home to go to, she always took them in and looked after them as they were her own. And she used to milk cows while Dad did the milk round. And she's just been such a wonderful mother, and that to us all. And she's always taken in my sisters when they've split up from their partners with their kids. Her and Dad took them in and looked after them, and that was, when things happen. She took 2 lots of our sisters in, and that when they split up from their husbands with their kids, and that over the years. And she's just been marvellous. But she's not very well the last week or so.
What's Mum's name?
Heather Mudge.
Oh, Heather. And how are you going to spend Mother's Day?
We'll come and see her, and that we'll all come and see her and that visit her for Mother's Day. But Leonie, one of my sisters, she's coming on Tuesday because she has a big turnout down at her place.
Oh,
so
how
she's going to
gorgeous.
spend the day Tuesday with Mum.
And where did you grow up, Karen?
At Gawler.
Oh.
And then we lived at Paraka for a few years. But at Gawler we had a farm and grew potatoes and had a dairy farm, and Dad was the milkman.
Oh,
Mum used to milk the cows, and we used to help her milk the cows, and Dad used to do the milk round at Virginia and Angle Vale.
Well, she does sound pretty awesome to me. So congratulations, you have won an Uggs to You $100 gift voucher. Uggs to You are local manufacturers of superior handcrafted Australian Uggs, and you can visit Uggs to You. They're on the corner of Grange and Frederick Road, Seaton. Would Mum rock a pair of Uggs to You Ugg boots?
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah,
Well,
so she feels the cold something shocking now that she's getting up in years.
oh, well, I'm glad that they'll go to a good home. Please wish her a very, very happy Mother's Day to beautiful
Yes,
Heather.
I will. I will. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Karen, for calling in. She definitely ticks the box for an awesome mum, doesn't she? All right, it's that time of the week where we talk cars, and if you do have a question that you'd like to talk to Trent Nikolic about, 8223 0000.
Life is a highway. I wanna ride it all night long. If you're going my way.
Trent, good afternoon. Great to have you on the show.
Good afternoon, Jade. Good afternoon, everyone.
Well, let's kick things off with the interest rate hike that we just heard there. The Reserve Bank of Australia has boosted it 0.25%. So what does that actually mean for car sales? Anything?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know what it'll mean for car sales specifically, Jade, to start with, because I guess, and we've spoken about this nearly every week, I know some of your listeners probably think we're just talking about the same point, but stock shortages mean that if you've only got 500 cars to sell and you've got 1,000 people who want to buy those 500 cars, you're going to find a buyer for the car, right? So I think at the moment with the stock shortages, it might not actually hurt car sales in the immediate future, but what it will do is it'll make finance more expensive because and a good example is Toyota. I think Volkswagen might be the same. They have their own finance. So when you go and buy a Toyota, and you get Toyota finance, it's actually Toyota doing the lending, whereas if you go to one of the other manufacturers, it tends to be Macquarie Bank or one of the big banks that does the lending on their behalf.
Yeah.
Now, they're obviously going to pass that rate rise down to anybody who's got automotive finance, and I guess the point to make is it's not going to hurt as much as people who've got mortgages, clearly, because if you've got a car loan on a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 car, that's very different to $1 million on a house or $1.5 million on a house.
Yeah.
So the rate rise is going to hurt less, but it'll almost certainly get passed down. What it might do is it might make some people think twice before they buy a new car right now. They might want to hold off a bit and see what happens. And then what that will mean, I think, is that probably the waiting lists for new cars might come down a little bit because, like I said, at the moment, there's more people who want to buy new cars than there are new cars available. So what this might do is shorten the list of people on the waiting list waiting for a new car.
Let's talk about something pretty cool. Hyundai, they're going to ditch car keys for eye scanners. How's that going to work?
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem if I want to lend you my car. I've got brown eyes, you've got blue eyes.
The first thing I thought of, yes. Yeah, how do you share?
Yeah, that's right. Here, Jade, take my car for a run and then you can't get into it. Look, I think... what's interesting there is, we're joking about that, but realistically, between you and your partner, what you're going to do is you're going to, set both of your profiles in there. And this is a bit of a move. It's funny because we've been talking about this a lot in general. Now everybody has their credit card in their phone, of course. And if you go somewhere that doesn't have tap, you then don't have your credit card on you, right? And this is all part of that new world that we're moving to where you'll be able to lock and unlock your car with your phone. You might be able to do it with a little proximity chip rather than a key. You can certainly do it via your phone already. Teslas do that now. So, you can just tap your phone and open the car and get in and drive off in an electric vehicle. So I suppose a retina scan is the next logical thing. We've had fingerprint technology in the past. There's now home door locks, smart locks for your front door that have got fingerprint technology. I suppose it sounds like something out of the Jetsons or Back to the Future, but, we've said that so many times with automotive technology, and then within a year or two, it's actually common, and we're sitting here talking about how well it works.
I can only think, though, when you're trying to, get your eye scan and it's raining and, you can't, the camera can't see you, and I just feel like it's going to be a mess.
Or in my case, your mascara's running. And,
Exactly.
Exactly.
I've got an email here from Alan. Can you please advise what is the average life expectancy from an electric vehicle car battery before they need to be replaced? And what would the cost to be to replace the electric vehicle battery? We'll appreciate your response.
Yeah, so that was Alan, you said?
It is Alan, yeah.
Alan, really, really good points there, mate. And so let me answer them in that order. The average life expectancy is difficult to pin down because it depends, and I'm not hedging my bets, this is actually a technological way of explaining it. It depends on how you charge it. So if you use a supercharger network that bursts it with a really high charge all the time, that's going to tax the battery more than it will if you do it on a slower charger at home overnight. So that's the first thing. Now, I reckon manufacturers have told us that if you use a charger at home overnight, that's a 7 to 8 hour process. If you set the battery most of the time only to go up to 80 or 90% and you don't let it get completely flat, so if you operate between 10 and 20 and 80 and 90, that will make the battery last a lot longer as well. And then the other thing to that point is that as they lose their efficiency, they don't just die. So they're not like a battery that you have in a torch or a battery that you might have in a fire alarm at home. They don't just die. What will happen is if you've got a car that is brand new, in optimum conditions, you might get 500 kilometres out of a full charge. The battery will start to lose efficiency, so you might only get 400 kilometres when it's 15 or 20 years old. It's very hard to nail down an actual percentage, though. And then to answer the second part of Alan's question, Jade, it is, look, I don't want to use the word horrendously, but it is really expensive because the large cost of an electric vehicle is the battery pack. So let's say on a current car that's got, a range of 400 to 500 kilometres, the battery pack's probably between $10,000 and $15,000 of that, the price of the car. So it's quite expensive.
Wow, okay. And I'm guessing that that wouldn't always be under warranty either.
No. A lot of the time it'll be out of warranty. So, I mean, if you've got an electric car with 400,000 kilometres on it and it's 15 years old, yeah, it's not going to be under warranty. I guess, and this is not to make an excuse for electric vehicle manufacturers, but the thing is, the same thing happens with a regular vehicle. You just don't notice it. So if you've got an old diesel four-wheel drive that's got 500,000 kilometres on it, it's not as efficient as it was when it was new. Let's say originally it was using 11 litres per 100. Once the engine's got that much work on it, it might be using 14 or 15 litres per 100. So it's actually not as efficient. Petrol engines do the same thing. So regular engines do reduce in efficiency over time, but I guess the difference is if you've got a 20-year-old car with a 2-litre petrol engine, it's probably going to cost you about $2,000 to change the motor over to get, a rebuilt one or a one from a wrecker, whereas a battery pack, we keep being told by suppliers and by manufacturers, Jade, that the cost of the battery pack is going to come down. But I'm not so sure about that. Unless they dramatically change the technology within the battery, they're made of things like lithium and cobalt, which we dig out of the ground and are in limited supply. So I just don't know that the battery packs and the price of them is going to come down dramatically anytime soon.
I hope that helps, Alan. If you've got a question about a car, new, used or a classic question, 8223 0000.
This is the sound of Julian's bargain price vacuum with deep express suction. This is the sound of Julian trying to fix his bargain price vacuum, which infuriates him deeply. Yes, this is the sound of bargain regret. When it comes to the important stuff, like insurance, don't risk it. Go to Amy instead, who offers great value cover you won't regret. Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by AAI Limited Trading as Amy, read the PDS at amy.com.au. TMD also available.
In the last 30 years, Labor governments on average delivered higher interest rates, higher unemployment, higher power prices, and not a single balanced budget. A strong economy? It won't be easy under Albanese. Authorised by AHERS Liberal Canberra.
For a limited time at Lordman and Pank Optometrists, Medibank members get 25% off lenses and lens extras when purchased with a frame. Hurry, this exclusive offer must end May 22. T's and C's apply. See staff for details. Lordman and Pank, we care for eyes.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. If you see a late model Mercedes for sale in a small car yard, you'd be hoping you might be able to snare a bargain. If you see the same Mercedes for sale at a respected dealership specialising in luxury European vehicles, you're likely to value that car more highly. The same goes for real estate. Market perception is everything. Sure, most agencies will be able to sell your home in this market, but only a premium agency can deliver a premium result. Visit toop.com.au to find out more.
If you're looking for a new local, the kind where you can get all your shopping done, where you don't have to spend all your time looking for a park, the kind where you can pick up presents, do the weekly shop, and stock up on seafood and small goods, look to Newton Central. With a newly renovated Drake's, Barossa Fine Foods, Seafood Works, Target, and many more shops, Newton Central is set to become your new local. Newton Central, Gorge Road, Newton.
Renovating your home? Ever had a basin you could eat your dinner out of? To ensure your renovations comply with the industry standards, Place your trust in a master plumber to make your vision become a reality. Choose one of our trusted, qualified and local members so your dream home doesn't become one of those renovation nightmares. Trust a Master Plumbers member to complete your stunning renovation. Go to findamasterplumber.com.au.
The kitchen is the heart of your home, and Spartan Electrical's heart is in quality kitchen appliances. Get the best kitchen appliance advice with Spartan Electrical, because the foundation of a great kitchen is the appliances. Spartan Electrical's appliance experts can help you select from the best brands at competitive prices, and they'll personally deliver to you too. Get inspired. Visit a Spartan Electrical showroom today in Campbelltown or Torrensville. Spartan Electrical, the foundation of your kitchen creation.
Jade Robran on 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
23 minutes past 3 o'clock, and you can join the program on our live stream account through Facebook or YouTube, and you will see two delicious cheesecakes sitting right in front of me, and I've got a $50 gift voucher to give away throughout the show. And all I want to do is just hear how awesome your mum is, 8223 0000. But right now we are talking motoring, and Craig has called in to ask Trent Nikolic from drive.com.au a question. Welcome to the show, Craig.
Hi Jane, how are you?
Good, mate. What would you like to talk to Trent about?
I'm looking at a 2016 Prado, but I've spoken to a mechanic, mate, and he said that they have DPF issues. And I was just wondering, is that on the money, or...?
So, basically, what's happened, mate, Toyota's issued a recall on those vehicles. So what I would recommend that you do is any... time that you're buying one of those second-hand Toyotas, just ensure that the recall's been taken care of. I mean, it's free anyway, so if you bought one that hadn't been taken in for the repair work, the rectification work, that's not a problem. You can always add that later anyway. But the other thing too, mate, is what sort of driving do you do? Because this is the big issue with these. If you spend all of your time in stop-start traffic, and we've got a lot of them in Sydney that, you know, mum takes the kids to school or dad takes the kids to school, 5 minutes down the road, turns the car off, drives it back, turns it off, goes up to the shop, turns it off, very short trips, right? And that clogs the DPF up badly. But if you drive longer distances, if you spend any time on the highway, if you're out on a longer drive, even once a month, but a couple of times a month, you won't have a problem. So what sort of driving do you do?
Oh, look, it mainly sits at home during the week, but then obviously when I go away, I use it to tow a camper trailer.
Yes.
So a little bit of city, but mainly used for going out and taking it off-road and going camping.
Yeah, you'll almost have no problems with it anyway, mate. So any rural people who've had DPFs in their Toyotas haven't reported the same issues that people in the city have, because the way they work is that to clear out the matter that they've collected from the exhaust, they have to get to a super hot temperature. They really have to heat up. And that only happens when they're out on a longer drive. So if you're on the freeway, it can run that regeneration cycle and then it'll clean itself out. So you won't have a problem with it, mate. If you're doing that sort of driving, no issue at all.
Please explain what DPS is.
It's a diesel particulate filter.
Uh-huh.
So basically what it is, Jade, it's mounted into the exhaust system and it takes a lot of the noxious gases and small minute particulates that would otherwise get out of the tailpipe. It collects all of them, it traps them, and then it burns them off in a non-harmful way, so it cleans up the emission out of the tailpipe.
Ah, makes sense. So isn't that interesting? So all those driving around in an SUV in the city, that like a bigger car, they really do need to take it for a nice long burn on a freeway.
Absolutely, Jade. If any of your listeners are driving around Adelaide and they're looking at big SUVs, so big Land Rovers, big Toyotas, BMWs, things like that. And if they ever see one chugging out black smoke, that's largely what the problem is. When I speak to my mates who are mechanics, that's what the problem is. And generally, the remedy is just take it on a really good long drive down the freeway somewhere, like head 3 or 4 hours out of town and stay the night and come back if you can afford to do that. But if you do sort of 100 Ks on the freeway every month, every 3 weeks or so, you generally won't have a problem.
Thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to talking again next week.
Thanks, Jade.
Thank you, Trent Nikolic there, Managing Editor at drive.com.au. And if you'd like to read any articles that we were chatting about, the Hyundai ditching their keys for eye scanners, there is a good article on their website about that. We're going to head into the newsroom now, take a short break, continue to take your calls about how awesome your mum is in the lead up to Mother's Day. I've got the $50 Cheesecake Shop gift voucher to give away, and we are also going to be talking about the good old ham sandwich. Cancer Council has told us, don't put it in your kid's lunchbox. Well, I'm sorry, Cancer Council. Guess what I served my kids for lunch today? 2 delicious ham sandwiches.
For a unique take on everything happening in SA, join Matthew Abraham each Thursday with David and Will.
What did you make of the final composition of the upper house?
Well, for people who think the election ended, finally the big blue button got pushed by the South Australian Electoral Commission and the Legislative Council final makeup was revealed.
Matthew Abraham, Thursday mornings from 7:30.
For the first time we have a One Nation candidate in our upper house.
Only on Adelaide's 5AA.
Heard of this quick and easy dinner winner? Just load up your slow cooker in the morning with a pork shoulder, grab some rolls and coleslaw on the way home, and in just 10 minutes, you'll have pulled pork sliders. Winning! Get some pork on your fork at pork.com.au.
So the garden tap connects to the tap adapter. The tap adapter connects to the tap timer. The tap timer connects to the hose connector. The hose connector connects to the Pope hose. The Pope hose connects to a sprinkler. Keeping your garden green is easy with Pope's Permafit Connection no-leak garden hoses. And that's how your garden grows. Make the connection with Pope Garden Watering Systems. Available at Bunnings Warehouse.
Internode geeks love combinations, and here's one of our favourites. You take a whole 40 gigabytes of data, add unlimited talk and text to standard Australian numbers, a no lock-in contract, low price, and the result? Ta-da! Our magnificent new 40 gigabyte mobile SIM plan. It's just $15 a month for the first 6 months, then $29.99 a month. To find out more, visit internode.net. 6-month offer for new mobile customers only. Excess data $10 per 2 gigabytes for use in Australia.
It's always been my happy place. When the old arthritis set in, I thought my gardening days were over. Suffered for a while, actually. Nearly kicked myself when Carol told me about the joint replacement clinic. There's no gap to pay with health insurance and everything's included. Transport, physio, aftercare. They really look after you. Turns out I didn't need to fork out a cent to keep my trowel.
Ask your GP or visit thejointreplacementclinic.com.au. Renewing mobility, restoring life.
You Install It Kitchen's Mayday Super Sale is on this week only with 20% off everything. Make your project ideas a reality with custom-sized pre-assembled quality cabinetry delivered to your door. Measure up, sketch your floor plan, then head into a showroom at Modbury, Glandore, Norwood, Lonsdale and Churchill Centre, or try our 3D planner online. Don't miss 20% off everything at You Install It Kitchen's Mayday Super Sale. Till this Saturday only. You Install It Kitchens, the complete DIY kitchen solution. Conditions apply.
Hey, it's Callum here. It's not by chance that Edwardstown Mazda is located bang on South Road. They wanted to make it easy to get your car serviced. Any make or model. Make a pit stop at Edwardstown Mazda. edwardstownmazda.com.au.
Were you a fan of The Seekers? Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons? Neil Sedaka, the Everly Brothers, or the Bee Gees? Well, don't miss the Robertson Brothers Variety Show. It's a live 1960s variety TV show with special guest Simon Brooke McLaughlin from the Jersey Boys. The Robertson Brothers Variety Show. Tickets on sale now.
Her Majesty's Theatre, Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Good afternoon, I'm Michaela Kamareg. The Reserve Bank has raised interest rates by a higher level than economists had expected, up 0.25% to 0.35. Another 3 people have died from COVID in SA, while 3,215 new infections have been recorded today. A house fire at Sturt this morning is being treated as arson, and North Melbourne could be boosted by the return of 2 experienced midfielders for Friday's AFL clash with Fremantle in Perth. Possible showers this afternoon. Currently it's 22 degrees. More news at 4 o'clock and as it happens on 5AA.
13.95. Adelaide's 5AA. This is Jade Robran.
Good afternoon. Just a little traffic hazard around the CBD. Due to the opening of the 55th Parliament, there are traffic delays in the CBD. Currently, North Terrace, west of King William Street, is closed. And as of 3:30, so as of now, the intersection of North Terrace and King William Street will be closed for approximately an hour. So authorities in the area are saying, could you please take an alternative route? So that is the intersection of North Terrace and also King William Street. It'll be closed from now for about an hour. Now, we talk about the cost of living and how it's hurting many of us. I mentioned that I noticed I paid an extra about, $100 or so by, my shopping last week. I'm still a little bit angry about that, to be honest. That's a lot of money. And I did a big cook-up, actually, on Sunday and planned for the week so that I didn't waste anything and so meals could go further. But even the best planning or saving, it can't help everybody. And alarming numbers revealed today from the Victims' Court say that they're dealing with 45% increase in domestic violence, partly because of cost of living going up. The Commission CEO, Gabrielle Canny, joins us. Gabrielle, thank you very much for joining the program. This is extremely disturbing.
It is, absolutely. There is never an excuse for domestic violence. But unfortunately, what we're seeing is that more families are coming under pressure, particularly financial pressure, and unfortunately for some of those, it then spirals into a domestic violence incident.
What type of abuse are you seeing?
In most of the cases, we are seeing coercive, controlling behaviours. That's psychological, sort of social, emotional, financial or technology-based. In nearly all cases, abusers are using technology to harass women. It involves things like threats online, tracking devices, stalking, repeated calls and texts. And it often arises from stress on a household, stress that the individuals can't manage, and then they spiral through down into this sort of behaviour.
I mentioned, we do talk about it on the show a lot, different ways of how we can help, make the dollar go further and meal planning or budgeting or lots of different ways to help ourselves at the moment while, fuel prices go up. Everything, everywhere we turn, it's going up. But like you said, turning to domestic abuse is never, ever okay. Sadly, we hurt the ones we love and the ones closest to us, though, don't we?
That's right, and I think it's particularly important that people realise that there are resources for victims. They are free resources. They're available. There's an advice line for anybody to ring, 1800 246 642. And what I want to emphasise is it is for those people that feel they are a victim, but it is also for their mother, for their sister, for their neighbour, for someone else to make the call, get some information so that they can help empower that person that's looking like they might be a victim.
A lot of people won't put their hand up to say that they are a victim. Sometimes, like you said, it's got to be someone close that's observing. How do you tackle that situation without feeling like you're betraying your friend?
I think it starts with what I started with. There's no excuse for domestic violence. It's not about, they were having a bad day, they were just concerned about how much money is being spent in the household. Everybody has pressures and there are ways to deal with pressures, but it is not through violence nor through harassment and stalking and other behaviours that absolutely destroy the other party.
Do you hear much, he, she only did it once?
There is always a story about why an incident might have happened and the absolute hope that it will only ever be one incident. But unfortunately, we have a lot of people who come and see our lawyers, who ring that telephone advice line, who don't even realise that what they've been putting up with is domestic violence and that there are some solutions for them.
COVID payments helped so many. Has that also been a contributing factor as well?
Well, the COVID payments did make a difference. I think it sort of lightened the load for many families. But unfortunately, at the same time, with the lockdown, sort of severity of which varied around Australia, many families were sort of forced into very close contact. They didn't have the release of going off to work. They didn't have the release of being able to do things with family and friends. So unfortunately, we really saw our inquiries go up quite steeply during COVID. But what we're seeing now through our domestic violence court assistance service is that people are making applications to the court for those intervention orders they need.
Do you feel the government needed to be a bit more aware of all of this that we're talking about?
From my perspective, I can see both the state and the Commonwealth governments are aware. They have been putting money into resources. The COVID sort of came upon us. It wasn't something that governments could plan for. But services are available, and as I say, governments have made sure that we've been funded so that those services are free. So I do encourage people to use them.
Have you ever seen an increase like this before? 45% increase, that's massive.
It is massive, and it's over one quarter, so we expect to see more, actually, as the year goes on, because, of course, the changes, the increase in the cash rate will now begin to hit, and so we expect those numbers to go even higher this year.
What is your advice to somebody that may be in a situation that they feel like they can't get out of, but they know it's wrong?
Make the phone call. Ring us on 1800 246 642. It's a free call. You'll talk directly to a lawyer. The lawyer will hear your story. They will start giving you suggestions. The first suggestion is always about safety. Are you safe living where you are? Do you need to make a change in your living arrangements? But after that, it will be advice about housing, about tenancy, about credit card, joint credit cards. It'll be about other behaviours, about technology, about how to make sure that no one is tracing you through your phone. So all that advice you can get for free.
When you talk about financial abuse, is that your partner's taking money off you, controlling how much you're spending?
It is that. It's also absolutely restricting what money can be spent on. Unfortunately, some people really sort of dole out the money. You can only spend it on food, but you can't spend it on sort of a pair of shoes that you might desperately need. And so it comes in all forms, unfortunately.
Social, is that, removing you from your friends and your loved ones, that real controlling side of things?
Yes, we do see that, and that's a bit like a self-fulfilling prophecy because, of course, once someone stops doing things with their friends and family, they stop getting invited, they again get very lonely, and no one's actually seeing the behaviours that are going on in the household.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Gabrielle Canny, the CEO of Legal Services Commission. And if you feel like you need to talk to somebody like Gabrielle and her team, you can so for free and confidential legal advice. You can phone the number 1800 246 642 or you can visit wdvcas.lsc.sa.gov.au. That is a bit of a mouthful, that one, but the number again is 1800 246 642. Gabrielle Canny there, thank you very much for your time. So I do have this this delicious cheesecake voucher to give away. Cheesecake Shop have kindly donated $50 vouchers every day to celebrate mums this Mother's Day, which obviously falls on Mother's Day. It's the perfect Mother's Day gift. It's a piece of cake from the Cheesecake Shop and you can order online. Margaret has called in. Margaret, thank you for joining the program. How awesome is your mum?
Oh, hello, Jade. Yes, it's about my late mum. She died 12 years ago, and she was absolutely amazing. And I tried to be like her. She was 92 when she died. But, we're different personalities, but I really tried to be like her. And I've got a daughter and son and 3 granddaughters who are 5, 5 and 3. And, I just, I can be memories of my mum. I'm a mum to my kids, but I'm a grandmother to 3 wonderful little girls. And I just, I just do things with them. I crawl around the backyard and play with them. And I don't care if I got aches and pains the next day. I just love doing all of that.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Sorry, how many grandchildren did you say you have?
3 girls, 5, 5 and 3. And I love them so much, and I'm so blessed. And, you know, I love my own daughter and son and my in-law kids. But you know, with my own mum, she was just so wonderful. And I just try and be like her, you know.
What was your mum's name?
Her name was Peg, and my name's
beautiful.
Margaret. So anyone in the Edwardstown area will remember Peg.
She was a real community person, was she?
Oh, yeah. Everyone loved my mum. And, yeah, I won't say her last name, but, yeah, Peg. Yeah.
Everyone in Edwardstown knows Peg. Margaret, thank you so much. Stay on the line, and I am going to send you a Wallace Cinema Pass. Congratulations. You can catch a movie of this week at Mitcham, Mount Barker or Noarlunga. And for sessions, you can visit wallace.com.au. And there's lots of fun kid movies at the moment. My boys went and saw Sonic the Hedgehog, so maybe that's one that you could take your 3 beautiful grandchildren too. Let's talk to Paul. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Jade. Nice to talk to you. I hope you're well. I was very lucky. I'm one of 4 children. We had a wonderful mother, and unfortunately she's no longer with us, but you always remember her this time of year. And in particular, in my mid-20s, I moved to Sydney from Adelaide to a company I worked for. Promoted me to head office, and it was all pretty exciting, but I was a little bit homesick up there. But Mum would go into the Adelaide office and take food in there and put it in the mail bag with all the documents they used to send up to head office in Sydney, and I'd be sitting there of a morning and doing my work, and the lady would come around that distributed the post and said, "Oh, I've got this for you," and there's packages of food and all sorts of stuff come up with all the mail, and pretty soon I had a bit of a reputation as a mummy's boy up in head office. But what takes the cake, so to speak, on my 25th birthday, she got a hold of a friend of mine here in Adelaide who actually worked for the Premier's department with Premier John Bannon, and she knew that he was going to Sydney with the Premier, and so she baked the best fruitcakes in the world, and she baked a magnificent fruitcake with my name, put my name on it, put 25 candles on it, put it in a box, tied it up with string, gave it to my mate, who had to carry it around all day in Parliament House in Sydney with John Bannon. And then we met at night for a couple of beers, and I opened up the box, and there's this magnificent fruitcake, which doesn't quite go with beer, but we did a pretty good job with it. So,
what a mum! That is beautiful.
That takes the cake, I think. She was sensational.
That takes the cake, Paul. I love that story. And how are you spending Mother's Day?
Oh, we'll get together. My wife's mother's still with us, which is fantastic,
nice.
And so we'll spend time with her and remember my mother.
Oh, that's really beautiful. Well, you go in the running to win the Cheesecake Shop voucher, but I am going to flick you through a Wallace Cinema Pass to catch a movie at the week. You can visit wallace.com.au. We're going to head into a quick break. Coming up afterwards, we'll find out what is going on in the world of sport, and then we're going to be talking about this ham sandwich gate.
The Skip, Mark Bickley, talks footy with Rowey each Friday night. Thanks to Jarvis Toyota. Rediscover the road in the all-new Toyota Land Cruiser 300 at Jarvis Toyota, South Road, Clovelly Park.
Did you know that South Australia was the first place to legalise nude swimming? And more than just churches, Adelaide was originally known as the city of pubs and churches. True. And did you know that Automasters is one of Australia's fastest growing automotive service and repair groups, with over 75 branches across Queensland, South Australia and WA. So switch and save on logbook servicing, repairs, brakes, aircon and more. Call 1300 Automasters. Great service guaranteed.
Introducing the Wheels Car of the Year, the fully electric Kia EV6. Leading the charge with over 500 kilometres of driving range, newfound levels of technology, performance, build quality, refinement and luxury. The judges were unanimous. The Kia EV6, Wheels Car of the Year. To find out more, visit kia.com.au.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Have you been putting off your life admin? Sorting out your wardrobe can wait, but sorting out your will shouldn't. At Morris Blackburn, our expert lawyers make setting up your will simple. Search Morris Blackburn My Life Wills to complete the online form. We'll then schedule a 30-minute consultation to discuss your needs, prepare your will, and store it at no extra cost. To protect your loved ones, head to morrisblackburn.com.au/create-my-will.
In the last 30 years, Labor governments on average delivered higher interest rates, higher unemployment, higher power prices, and not a single balanced budget. A strong economy? It won't be easy under Albanese. Authorised by Ahurst Liberal, Canberra.
The passing of someone close places unique stress on family and friends. At this time, Farrell and O'Neill Funerals are here to provide reassurance and peace of mind. Farrell and O'Neill offer creative guidance and advice to tailor a service that best honours your loved one. Whether a large gathering or a small, intimate service, Farrell and O'Neill share their generations of experience in tailoring a unique and meaningful farewell. Proudly SA family-owned and operated, because it's personal.
How far would you go for your dream kitchen? And how far would you go to get 25% off? How about 15 minutes up the freeway to Balhanna Kitchens by Design? To the largest showroom in the Adelaide Hills. Custom build your dream with our award-winning designers. And get 25% off your cabinets with laminate bench tops. For a limited time, of course. Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It's not too far to go to make your dream a reality. balhannakitchens.com.au.
So now you know who was the first to legalise nude swimming. You also know how to switch and save with Automasters. Logbook servicing, repairs, brakes, aircon and more. Call 1300 Automasters. Great service guaranteed.
Jade Robran on 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Good afternoon. It's 12 minutes to 4 o'clock, and of course, coming up after 4 o'clock, it's Rowey's Sports Show, and Rowey joins me now. I need to ask you a really important question, Rowey. When you were a kid growing up, did your mum pack ham sandwiches in your lunchbox?
No, we were just straight up and down veggie.
Oh, Vegemite every day.
Vegemite and cheese.
All right.
Polony.
Yeah.
We called it polony, which is Fritz and cheese and sauce.
Why'd you call it polony?
Dunno.
I love Fritz and
Might
sauce
be
sandwiches.
Italian. Oh, God.
The best.
Imagine how fat I'd be if I still ate Fritz.
I still eat Fritz.
Oh, I
I
love
pack
it.
a Fritz and sauce sandwich once a week.
It's beautiful.
It's got to be with butter and it has to be with white bread.
Yeah, I agree.
The best.
Exactly. Hey, big show from 4. North's Jason Horn-Francis, round 7. NAB Rising Star nomination, one of your boys from your little stable.
He's a little ripper. I've been messaging him today. Super proud of him.
Oh, he's a champ. Going to be anyway. Kevin Sheedy on, well, getting ahead of yourself, so I might have to switch my ears on, because I certainly did last week. I had the Crows in the top 8, had them beaten, blooming, oh my God.
No, not
Egg
anymore.
on Facey. Cornsey after 5, he's a legend. And another legend, Jason Ackermanis. Acker's coming to town, Brownlow medalist, 3 flags, 4 All-Australians, playing for North Gawler. Going to have a sportsman's night. So I thought, if Acker's in town, let's have a chat.
Oh, he's such a good character.
Isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He brought smiles to many people's faces in
Oh,
his day.
he could play. So see you after 4.
Thanks, Rowey. Dean from Hillbank, nice to have you on the show. What's awesome about your mum?
My mum is a magic person. She's taken care of so many people over the years. But, you know, when we were younger, my dad used to gamble and he would drink and whatever else, and she worked her entire life and took care of us. We never went without a thing. Then when he turned 50, he had a stroke, and she took care of him for 10 years until he died. And then in between, after that, she took care of me when I had a breakup with my marriage, and my brother had a breakup with his marriage. Both stayed there for about a year. And my cousin, who no one would have him, she had him there too because he was having mental problems. But she was a volunteer at the Lyell McEwen Hospital for 25 years. And when they told her that she couldn't go anymore because of the COVID virus, she was very disappointed. But this woman cares about everyone. The only thing I ever told her was that you need to do what you do for not being thanked, and she wanted to be thanked. And I said, and she finally learned that lesson. Now she's got a partner.
Yeah.
He had a problem with falls and things and everything else, and he was like worth nothing practically, and like sitting there all day doing nothing. Then they put him on a tablet, and now he's good again. So she takes care of him. So she is the most magical person I've met in my life. My mum is such a wonderful person. I go and see her 2 or 3 times a week, and I tell my brothers and sisters, like, you got to see her because otherwise one day she won't be here. She's about 86 now, but my mum means the world to me, and she always has. Whether I've been through hard times, she's always been there for me, and I really respect that, and I think she's the best mum in the world.
That is so beautiful, and I love the word respect there because, yeah, she just sounds like she's got a heart for everybody around her. Hey, can you do me a favour? Can you please pick up a cheesecake from the cheesecake shop, take it to her on Mother's Day and celebrate what an amazing lady she is and have a little piece of cake and cup of tea and say, Happy Mother's Day from me?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, but I love your show. And I listen to Cornsey and you and everyone when I've got my days off. And when I've got my days off, I'm lucky that I can listen to you and Cornsey because I love his show when he's doing the interviews, and I love your show too. And thank you so much for being on the air.
Oh, really appreciate that, Dean. Thank you so much. We'll stay on the line. We'll put you back to Tammy. And like I said, you can pick up the Cheesecake Shop voucher, head there, and there's lots of different flavours that you can buy. It is the perfect Mother's Day gift. It is a piece of cake from the Cheesecake Shop, and you can order online today. Well, guess what I packed my kids for lunch today? Ham sandwiches. And then when I got to work today, I clicked on, as I do every morning, to have a look at what news stories are around, and all over the news, all these stories about how bad ham is, and headlines saying, don't pack it, don't put it in your kids' lunch boxes. And I thought, you're serious? Information leaflets from the Cancer Council were sent out by teachers in a few New South Wales schools telling kids to stop eating ham sandwiches because processed meat is linked to an increased risk of cancer. Let's chat with dietitian and nutritionist Susie Burrell, who joins us on the line. Susie, good afternoon. Great to have you on the show.
Hi, Dad. Great to talk to you.
Okay, is this going a little bit too far?
It's a really challenging one to talk about because it's not a black and white answer.
Mm-hmm.
Because on one hand, the World Health Organization does define processed meats as a high-level carcinogen, which means they're associated with a high risk of developing some types of cancer. And in the case of bowel cancer, processed meat, it's bowel cancer, that there's a strong link. But to make that blanket statement when it comes to ham is making it a bit simplistic because there's a big difference between an aged-old salami, which is really, really high in fat and been aged for a long time, so perhaps very high levels of those nitrates, which are associated, the actual molecule associated with an increased risk of some types of stomach cancer and bowel cancer, and then, say, a 97% fat-free ham that you would use in small amounts in a school lunchbox. So I don't think I can say, no, you shouldn't use ham. I think what I will say is that there's better options, but occasionally, like anything as part of a healthy diet, it's not any cause for concern. But it is better to spend money on better quality ham, and it is better if you can afford it to buy the nitrate-free ham. But, I would argue the white bread on the sandwiches is just as bad, if not worse, to be honest.
There you go.
So it's sort of middle ground, it's not black and white. And I think when you read that information coming from public health organisations, what screams out to me is it's not written by people who have got hands-on experience working with families and busy families and the reality of making school lunches for kids every single day. Because what's a better option? What you put, jam on the sandwich or plain Vegemite on white bread? So you've got to keep it realistic for families and also what's affordable.
I am so happy you said that because my kids don't get a ham sandwich every day, maybe once a week, and it's on a wholemeal roll and, happy days, they'll eat it, and I'm just grateful that they actually eat something because they're more interested in kicking the footy around at lunchtime. But the alternative is, busy mum, busy dad, here you go, chicken nuggets or something from the canteen to have. So, it's about being sensible, really, isn't it?
It is, and really the push should be towards the manufacturers of processed meat to make better quality products. So make product that's got a higher actual lean meat content, that is taking those nitrates out, which is used to preserve the ham. That's going to be a much more strategic thing for public health organisations because that influences the health of the entire population rather than just targeting busy parents. So, I think like all things in moderation, once or twice a week, I would absolutely be focusing more on the type of bread and avoiding the spreads like the margarine, which is a much more processed product in general. But isolating one food is never a smart choice as a recommendation because it comes down to the entire profile of the diet. You know, if you look at Mediterranean cultures or Italian cultures, they've eaten processed meat for years, but then they have a diet that's packed full of fresh fruits and vegetables as well. So it's not just the processed meat. It means about having the balance and trying to get the kids to eat more fresh food to balance it out, and leaner meats and things like that, rather than just targeting one food and say that it should be banned in the lunchbox. It's not really very user-friendly for busy parents, as opposed to, you know, how do we actually improve the nutritional quality of the lunchbox with practical solutions? And what are some other alternatives that you can mix up a protein-rich filling with? You know, will they have a hard-boiled egg? Will they have a tin of tuna? Can you use some leftover chicken strips? And then just maybe mix it up a little bit more rather than just, you know, isolating that one food.
Good advice. And if you'd like to read more, Susie Burrell has a website. It is susieburrell.com.au. Thank you so much for joining the show. We are going to wrap things up today. It is nearly 4 o'clock. We'll head into the newsroom now. And of course, after 4 o'clock, it's Rowey's Sports Show. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon with me. I hope you have a great afternoon and I look forward to joining you again tomorrow. See you later.
No one does oysters like Coppin Bay. No one does mindful retreats like the Adelaide Hills. No one does farm fresh feasting